Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be following up on a video that I made recently talking about some new rumors for episodes 19 and 20 of Dragons Rising Season 3, and some alleged descriptions for these final two episodes that appeared online. Now, with that being said, just for a quick couple of disclaimers, this video will contain spoilers for pretty much everything Dragons Rising Season 3 so far, parts 1 and 2, and also, again, these are still considered rumors at this point. These episode descriptions should not be taken as fact. These are still rumors, might be real, might not be real, so keep that in mind as we continue. So in case you guys do not know, recently this episode description made its way online, allegedly for episode 20, more specifically of Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2. Now remember, this is just one gigantic rumor, not to be taken as fact as of right now. This has not been confirmed in any way, shape, or form, so do with that as you will, but it reads as follows. Thunderfang uses the last of his powers in the Spectral Lands to fight off the ninja as they try to stop him from destroying the Source Dragons. They defeat Thunderfang, but Lloyd loses his powers in the process. Jay uncovers more about his past. Now, what we are focusing on more specifically here in the context of this particular video is the idea of Lloyd losing his powers at the end of Season 3, and of course what that might mean for Season 4 of Dragons Rising. From what I've seen, Ninjago fans have been pretty mixed about this, with some Ninjago fans saying that it's way too similar to Lloyd losing his soul to Thunderfang at the end of Season 3 Part 1, and also some Ninjago fans are saying, if Season 4 is going to be focused on Lloyd's powers somewhat, which we already know that has been confirmed, what sense would it make for Lloyd to lose his powers at the end of Season 3 just for Season 4 to focus on them? And don't get me wrong, I totally agree with those 2 points, however, I do think both points could be easily explained away. For one, again, Lloyd losing his powers being similar to Lloyd losing his soul to Thunderfang at the end of Season 3 Part 1, I will agree again that these 2 plot points are similar, but you could also see Lloyd losing his soul to Thunderfang briefly as being a precursor to what comes next. Sure, Lloyd loses his soul, but it wasn't permanent, and he got it back within minutes of losing it. However, again, maybe it's a sign of what's to come. Maybe it's foreshadowing Lloyd losing his powers fully to defeat Thunderfang at the end of Season 3 Part 2. Except this time, Lloyd losing his powers would be a more severe thing. And also, continuing off on that point, again, Season 4 is confirmed to at least have some focus about Lloyd's powers. That was confirmed by various Ninjago writers out there. So what sense would it make if Lloyd loses his powers at the end of Season 3 just for Season 4 to focus on them? Well, in my opinion, that makes sense, right? Because focusing on Lloyd's powers being lost is still focusing on them. If Season 4 has a plot dedicated to Lloyd trying to gain back his elemental powers or learning to live without them, that would be, by definition, focusing on Lloyd's powers. I mean, sure, he doesn't have his powers, but that's what the focus is about. And if Lloyd were to, say, go on a journey to regain his powers in Season 4, well, Lloyd could learn more about his elemental powers on his way to regain them. We do know that the Source Dragon of Life will play a big role in Season 4 as well, with the Source Dragon of Life pretty much having a whole set dedicated to itself in the January 2026 wave, which again corresponds to Dragons Rising Season 4. And we know that Lloyd's powers come from this Source Dragon. I would not be surprised if, say, Lloyd and this Source Dragon go on a journey to obtain Lloyd's powers again. And along the way, Lloyd could learn more from this Source Dragon, surrounding what exactly his power necessarily is, what is it called officially, where does it come from, who else has had this power in the past. All of that could be answered by the Source Dragon of Life on a journey to regain Lloyd's powers. And also, you could see this as being Lloyd's chapter of the quest for the lost powers. You might remember at the end of Ninjago Crystallized, the original 4 ninja lost their elemental powers. The elemental powers returned to them naturally over time, but they needed to go through these journeys first. The book, which is canon by the way, taking place in between Crystallized and Dragons Rising Season 1, documented each ninja again regaining their powers. This could be Lloyd's chapter of that book. Since Lloyd did not lose his powers at the end of Crystallized, unlike those ninja, Lloyd never got a chapter about gaining his powers back. We saw Nia work with gaining her powers back in Crystallized itself, so now it's Lloyd's turn. And while we have certainly seen plots about Lloyd again losing his powers and gaining them back before, in the Oni trilogy more specifically, again, Dragon's Rising Season 4 could take a deeper dive into Lloyd's power set, explain what it is, where it comes from, again, possibly with the Source Dragon of Life by Lloyd's side. Also, not to mention, I think it would be good for Eren as well. Since Eren is still, again, kind of insecure about not having an elemental power and being one of the only ninja who ultimately is powerless, having his teacher also be powerless could give Lloyd a chance to learn from Eren for a change. Lloyd has been trying his best to mentor and teach Eren, but now it's time for Eren to teach Lloyd a thing or two, to teach him about how to be independent from his power and how power doesn't necessarily mean everything. And also, not to mention, with Eren threatening to quit the ninja in Dragon's Rising Season 3, this could give Eren a chance, again, to be motivated to become a ninja full-time and push out those feelings of quitting. I still think the idea of Eren quitting is an interesting one, but also I love the idea of Eren venturing out there with Lloyd and trying to teach him, again, about the benefits of not having an elemental power, of not relying on an elemental power, because you could totally see Lloyd as having forgotten about that. Of course, Season 4 would not exclusively focus on this quest, obviously. We still have a lot of stuff going on in Season 4, with the remnants of the Forbidden Five, potentially. Other rumors are suggesting, again, more monsters that might tie back into the Land of Monsters, so maybe Kai could handle that whole storyline and lead that branch of ninja, while Lloyd and Eren venture off, again, possibly with the Source Dragon of Life, to obtain, learn more about, and possibly even find, again, Lloyd's elemental powers. So what I would like to see from Dragon's Rising Season 4 is a storyline about Lloyd going on a quest with the Source Dragon of Life to find out more and possibly regain his elemental powers. Maybe Eren could go along with them, like I said, making an interesting trio. It's not a perfect idea, and again, there are definitely some things that could point to the entirety of these episode 19 and 20 descriptions not being legit in the slightest, but in a way, I hope that they are, because I feel like it could lead to a very excellent storyline in Dragon's Rising Season 4, focusing on Lloyd's elemental powers and the process of him regaining said powers. I think it would be very good for Lloyd's character. Sure, it might be similar to other plots that we've seen before, but Dragon's Rising Season 4, again, could more deep dive into these powers and explain more about their history, their origins, all of that good stuff. So that's what I would like to see. I think it's a pretty good idea, and I think it's totally possible, just given everything that we've discussed in today's video. However, those have been my thoughts. Feel free to leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments section. What exactly do you think about the idea of Lloyd losing his powers at the end of Season 3, going into Dragon's Rising Season 4? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it'll happen? Can you see a storyline coming out of this plot point? Leave all of your thoughts down below, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.